Let's go, bub. Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut!
What is that?
Branded his butt cheek.
So what is that? Is it a fraternal twin?
Yeah.
Fraternal?
Yeah, because we're not identical. He does not have. Sorry.
Just not developed ones.
Well, I hope it never develops.
Right. that'd be awkward, right?
Yes, it would.
And you don't have the parts that he does.
Right.
Not the last time I looked. No.
All right. And with that being said,
Yeah,
we are live. And we have confirmed that Shelley doesn't have the parts that he has.
We were talking about her twin.
Yes. No, I gathered. So,
My not so identical twin.
Right.
So we are back. We are live. Davy Jones is kicking it with us in the chat again. He accidentally stumbled upon a gifted sub. So he has, I think, a bit more channel points now too because of that.
Ooh.
Nice.
So that means he can throw out some points as he deems necessary. So does somebody want to give us a recap of what happened last game?
Not it.
Let's see here. Okay. So just before last game, the team has finally decided to join together for a group karma pool. So we're doing that as a group now instead of individually. Let's see here. So we were spending most of last episode trying to help Ixion with his issue that he can't, at least easily or really at all, change his shape anymore unless he tries really hard. And so we did a lot of testing, some cutting, some heating up. Hyperion helped. Angler helped. We were subjecting him to different things. We even upgraded the medical scanner with Salanth biology information using Ixion's ship to scan him and all of that. And it seems like, it's all related to his empowerment mutation, like what's happened to several other team members. And it seems that if he can really focus and make those psyche checks, he can make at least partial modifications to his body, fixing himself for whatever he needs to do. But it's still tough for him.
We also had the recipe for my sustenance, which is much better than my basic absorption.
Yeah.
And found out that my ice power is comparable. At least at this point, we've seen that it's comparable to Angler's heat
generation. Yep.
Heat generation still, which it was nowhere close to that prior.
Correct.
But so we were going toe to toe for that. So Yeah.
Let's see. And right at about the end of that, Hyperion got a call from Donovan McLaren, the rich investor who was investing into Quantum Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
And we got updates that the transistor drives, or T drives, that were recently invented are selling like hotcakes. Several countries are ordering them. So much so that it seems like we need to drum up some more capital to make more factories to make more of this tech. And the med scanner is selling well, mainly to larger cities and medical establishments. And because of all the success, Donovan is putting on a party the next night to celebrate, and we were invited.
There we go.
So I have a question for you.
I hopefully have an answer.
Detective espionage, would that be a reasonable take given his past? More specifically, the espionage.
Yeah, I'd say
Because the advanced
that'd be fine.
rules-
Mm-hmm.
Question also, am I still able to change my coloration to where I mimic the looks of a human?
Yes.
Okay, so
Coloration has not been affected.
okay.
So, my God, I'm horrible with names. I'm sorry. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna pick up espionage
Okay.
as a talent.
All right, cool. We have 470 in the pool, so that brings it down to 370. And that would then make it Shelley's turn in the cycle.
Yeah, and I know you and I talked about her getting some martial arts,
Right.
and but I also was looking at engineering and electronic talents.
Let's see. So we have 370 right now. How many talents, Jerome, could she get based on like the month that we had off and the time that we've had so far?
She could probably learn one of them.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go with the fighting one, martial arts.
Cool. Yeah, Hyperion would have been teaching you that. Martial Arts D.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll put that on my sheet.
Cool. It brings us to 270, and now it is Derek's turn in the cycle.
And he stepped away to deal with the dog.
But admittedly, we don't have to spend it all right away. Espionage is
Correct.
a good thing because it gives us this espionage contact.
We might want to keep the 270 we've got right now just for because it's kind of low at this point, and we can still use that for like if we need to really increase somebody's die roll, or somebody really needs to try a power stunt that they haven't started yet.
Right.
So cool.
And it's tomorrow night is the dinner, right?
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So Angler is going to excuse himself, and he's going to head over to Aegis with the gift for Nene and Boss Man.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That way, everyone can kind of get settled back into things.
Okay.
He's gonna go see his girlfriend.
We have not even gone out on a date yet.
Maybe you should invite her to the party.
There you go.
Were we allowed guests?
Actually,
Yeah.
I think you're all Hyperion's +1.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he drops off the gifts, and that's it.
Okay.
He does his normally flirty behavior, and whenever it comes to the boss man, he's really professional. Said this has no inherent value to it unless you place it on it. I paid nothing for this. is what he says.
Sure, that's a heck of a way
Because
to
that's how
deliver a
corporate
gift.
law works. Until it is appraised, it is worthless.
This is worthless, but I got it for you.
So
Yeah, but-
romantic.
I think a pearl would be, if he was going that way, would be considered romantic. But no, that's our contact at Aegis. We have to keep we should keep her happy.
She's your girlfriend, not mine.
But if they don't have any information about the person that might be a trained magic user, he just shows himself out after chit chat and niceties and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
they haven't heard back from him just yet. It's one of those, you get the impression when you checked in. It's one of those. He is a part timer when it comes to adventuring and whatnot. So he doesn't like just check in whenever he wants to, check in all the time or whatnot. It's very, very hit and miss.
And Angler has not thought about the Washington D.C. lady.
No problem.
Right.
At least not yet. I don't want something out of character to slip into character. Blah 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 blah.
Okay. I think we're safe to jump to the next night then.
Probably, yeah. The only other thing, Hyperion would be working on trying to reverse engineer the quantum photonic reassemblers,
Okay.
so that he can make more, so that there's like one for each team member.
Sure. Why don't you give me a reason check first,
Okay. Use the thing.
and then we'll do a hyper invention.
And I need to see have my new suit been manufactured by our good friend Mainframe?
Technically working on making that right now, actually, with the reassembler.
Right.
Oh,
Everyone's gonna have one.
Well,
So 36.
Well, part of
green
that,
feet.
yeah, is the fact that it's kind of like having like a little ring or something, and poof, then all of a sudden you've got your costume on.
Right. So green feet.
Okay. Yeah, and by the way, everybody, use the roller in Discord chat. So green feet. So yeah, once you realize the tech that went into this, and what and how to basically break it down, your mind is able to put it together fairly simply. So if you make a hyper invention check of because you're trying to push it here, of a yellow result, you will succeed in basically making like either like a wristband, or that maybe looks like a watch, or something nondescript that will basically hold those two in place and interchange whatever clothing that the individual happens to be in with the costume in question.
Cool. Okay. And let's see here. Okay, so based on what we figured out in chat earlier, hyperinvention is actually at an effective unearthly 100. Let me go ahead and do that. Oh, God. Well, you know what? I got a white feet, but I do have a couple of rerolls. I'm going to use one of them.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
He's over here
Good
listening
call.
to Judas Priest instead of breaking the law. It's making the stuff. Da, da.
Yeah. There we go.
There we
83
go.
yellow feet.
Okay. Okay. So it took you a little bit longer, by a little bit like a half hour, not terribly much, to piece everything together. Probably because you were doing last minute proofing and security, because the last thing you'd want to do is have it think that the person is what needed to be replaced, and suddenly they get sucked into some quantum photonic void and die instantaneously.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
That would be crossing the streams bad. But after a couple test runs of something small initially, like, okay, I have a belt. Now I don't have a belt. I have a belt. Now I don't have a belt. You kind of scale it up a little bit, and you're like, okay, I have a coat. Now I don't have a coat. And then eventually you get it up to the point where it will effectively house one full outfit. Now keep in mind, if somebody is wearing armor at this point or something that it will not take that in. So that could cause problems. So you still need to further research that, to be that extensive. But if it's straight up clothing, costume for clothing, it's perfect.
Okay, so it does work now where it'll swap the legacy armor with whatever clothing that they're wearing at the time, and then back again. Okay.
Yes.
Sweet. Okay. And do I have like one for each team member at this point?
Yes, you have effectively made one for everybody.
Nice. All right. And when that's done, I make sure that I hand one to each. I'll just say it is kind of like a watch or a wristband or something like that matches what everyone would be wearing, and I make sure everyone's got one.
Okay.
Would that, considering the fact that I don't wear clothes and it's actually just my body that's looks like that, there would be nothing that it would be taking away. I mean, that
will be very problematic. It will not actually work if it cannot switch something in this space. So your brother Ixion is going to need to start wearing clothing.
Right. Yeah. And so I would tell him that.
Okay. Yeah, because it would try to skin me.
Right.
Or something to that effect.
He's got to shower. He's got to wear clothes. This is a rough period.
This is like
puberty.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know.
Davy
I don't
Jones
know about you, Jerome, but when I went through puberty, I was already used to wearing clothes. Bathing.
Yeah. Davy Jones already picked up on it at the same time as I said it. He's all, Ixion is growing up.
You're right. Yeah.
Pretty soon, I'm going to start growing hair in funny places. I'll be looking at globules of mercury in a different way. How you doing?
It's just a poster of the periodic table, and he's just like, ooh.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, what are you looking at, Ixion? You're gonna go blind. It's chemistry.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Right.
I learned it from you.
Yeah, exactly. I learned about watching you.
Does he have time to try his power stunt in the morning while he's doing his normal training?
Yes.
Oh yeah, let's do some power stunts. Because I got one in the works too. That I always forget about.
I've actually
Come on, Red Feet. It's okay.
You're yellow. Well, how many? Have you already succeeded once on your red?
Yeah.
Then it's yellow
Then-
from there.
Then it's yellow. It's 1 red, 3 yellow, 3 green before you actually have it committed to memory, basically.
Oh, I thought we had to do like 3 red.
No.
1 red, 3
Okay.
yellow, 3 green. I made note of it down here. So
I need one more green,
Nice.
and then it's permanent.
Okay. So you are working on illusions with sound, correct?
Correct.
That's what I thought. Okay.
He comes out very psyched as he manages to shape his plasma again.
Okay. All right. So now the question remains, how is everybody going to the party? And more importantly, is anybody going to pay attention to style?
Carmen's gonna need a little help there.
Does it say what type of attire it is?
Davy Jones, it is 1994.
probably late 94 now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need help coming from the guy that has never worn a stitch of clothes in his life. Yeah.
Carmen's been wearing clothes her whole life. They're just always the wrong ones.
Like, he will ask Hyperion, does the invitation say anything about black tie or anything like that?
No, it doesn't say anything like the effect of like you need to be, dressed in suit and bow tie or anything of that nature. But it is a rich event.
I would suggest at least some sort of suit, at least business casual. I will be dressing up since I represent the company.
I have a suit I keep around for affairs.
If we need to go find more clothing, we can. I'll purchase whatever you need.
Oh no, I have a tuxedo as well at my apartment, so I used to get invited to a lot of high fancy people who want to kind of show me off like I'm the catch of the day because they want to look like they're environmentalist.
I see. Well, at this point, we are all the catch of the day.
Yeah. I do need assistance in choosing my clothing.
Excellent. Who here? I'm gonna assume that we're all like in the same spot, like within the vein or something.
Mm-hmm.
Who all here needs assistance with obtaining clothing for the event?
Aside from me.
You're muted.
You're muted,
Shelley.
You're still muted. I'm assuming that between Sagan and Chone, they'll get Carmen figured out appropriately.
Okay.
Yeah. Sean will actually have to buy something since she's not allowed to get it for the 5-finger discount.
She's like, this is no fun.
If I could manipulate my shape anymore, I could do a 6-finger discount.
I'm assuming that I'll end up with some kind of a cocktail dress.
Okay. I will let you guys pick out however it is you're dressed. I'm just curious as to to what lengths you're going to go.
Little black dress.
Okay.
And Hyperion will drive Ixion to a place, get him a nice suit, get him all gussied up, like fitted for one and all that, and he'll lay out the cash to get it for him even.
Okay, sure. No problem. So, Angler, are you going to wear your suit or your tux?
Nice suit.
Okay. So when you open your door, you realize that the suit that you figured was nice is not quite so nice. Not by today's standards. You haven't actually gone out and clothes shopped in quite a while. Now, the tux is just fine. Mainly because that's more...
Timeless?
Not necessarily timeless, but military reg in that case.
All tuxes look alike.
When you got it,
Disagree?
you had much more scrutinizing eyes on it. When you finally pull out your suit, it's like this brown grandpa kind of suit with a fat tie. The collar's a little wider, like coming down. That was supposed to be a little bit more in fashion, and you're like,
Yeah, Sean would be going, oh, hell no. I'm not showing up with you like that.
Yeah, you know what? It's the skinny tie era.
It is.
Yeah, that's right.
He will go to a men's shop.
Okay. So, are you going to go to a what was it?
Probably a mall.
No, it's the
Men's Warehouse.
Men's Warehouse. Yeah. That was like the place back then.
Yes, it was.
Yes, he's going to a men's warehouse.
All right, no problem. Go ahead and give me a resource check.
All right. Let me see which is higher, my personal or up. They're the same. GD. I guess not.
White feet.
Okay.
Roll your GD resources.
So you rolled. You have two separate resources, so you can make that roll again. Basically, like, okay, that account didn't work.
Right. That's cool.
Let me try the other card.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much, that's what it comes down to. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Green feet.
Yeah. So no problem. So you get yourself a nice '90s outfit. That's appropriate. You got a nice skinny black tie pin. Got yourself some cufflinks. You know, something befitting of your name.
It's a whale tie clip and pufferfish cufflinks.
Wow. Okay. I was trying to give him some
In
style. and
Colorado.
yeah, I was going to say I was trying to give him some style, and he walked that one back real quick.
Well, he has a public persona as being an environmentalist about the ocean.
Sure.
That is not beyond his fashion sense.
Okay. Fair enough.
In fact, it's expected because we're in a superheroes universe.
Okay. Well, so is everybody just going together in like the same vehicle? How do you guys plan on getting there?
Are we getting a
I can take my car
a limo?
It's a fancy party. We should have a limo.
to the mall, or wait, how are we getting to the party?
To the party.
Yeah. So
Limo.
Hyperion would suggest that he can go ahead and rent a limo for everybody. We can all arrive at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, Sean's all about that.
Yeah. So then Hyperion gets that established so that we can get the limo, get
Okay.
driven over there at the appropriate time.
Sagan is in a pantsuit and is, she's always armed, but because of the storage device, it's not readily available. But otherwise, she just looks like a somebody working security for one of you.
Excellent.
She's
Yeah,
got
take her along too.
she's got shades that have that have tinted.
Was she with us when we first met McLaren?
No, she was not.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
So, as you guys all get there, you guys have seen the picture of what it looks like. It's not an actual castle, but it's a nice estate set up to kind of look like, like an English or Scottish castle / manor. There is the primary courtyard. In the as you come pulling up, it's got this archway with the gates pulled up. Normally, cars might come up into here, but this is actually being used as kind of like the reception and whatnot. There's some people out here chit-chatting and whatnot, and guards checking people as they come through. The building is made of, rock. It looks like at certain points it goes, maybe 2 or 3 stories high. And basically it's kind of built in a U formation, building wise. It's got some trees deposited around it. The construction of the place obviously stands out because it's in Colorado, but beyond that, it actually looks really, really nice, and very well kept, obviously.
Is this guy single?
Good question. I'll tell you what, why don't you give me an intuition check to see if you've paid attention to TV close enough.
Well, she's just looking at the place going,
Right.
okay, give me a second. I'll
Falling
roll.
for Pemberley.
You said a reason?
Intuition.
Oh, intuition. Okay.
You would be up one more column shift if you had the talent TV junkie, which that is a talent. We
Okay, for
love that one.
monstrous, what do I put in for monstrous?
I think it's MN.
MN.
Yeah,
MM?
MN.
Okay.
The MN, like
Oh,
Mary
MN.
Nancy. Mhm.
Okay. Red 99.
Okay.
Dang it,
Actually,
should I-
Holy moly!
Actually, Donovan Alexander McLaren has actually been voted the one of the world's top 20 eligible bachelors.
Oh, right.
Bet your ex-girlfriend can't teleport.
That's right.
I can be anywhere you want me to be.
And that came from Brittany. Wow.
She really is a rebel.
Location.
Yeah. Pretty much.
You have to excuse her. She's in her rebellious stage.
Yes. Yes.
She's gone off the deep end and gone blonde.
I can't do blonde. I'm not allowed to have actual blonde hair because my sisters are blonde, and then they would call me a poser.
Ah, I see. There's some sort of familial copyright. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Like both my sisters have like white blonde hair, and it's interesting to like observe just how much it has been part of their personality or like their identity. So like as they've gotten older, it's like less white and more like a little bit darker, and they like freak out. It's really interesting to watch. I've always been in the I don't know what color my hair is. Milieu. 'Cause it's
Okay.
like, is it blonde? Is it brown? I don't know. Anyway,
That used to be called beach blonde.
Do you put whiteout on the monitor?
I don't understand that reference.
You just totally lost her.
Yeah, that's fine. Then that means you're probably not blonde.
Right. There you go.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know. That could be kind of a blonde.
Blonde jokes.
Yep, blonde jokes.
I think there's a delay. Maybe she's a closet blonde.
So, as you pull out, they've got like a red carpet that kind of lines the driveway through the gate into the main kind of reception area in the courtyard. Of course, guards are stopping everybody and checking for invitations and making sure nobody here is armed. The security is armed, and they do seem pretty competent. They do have some what appears to be some extra equipment on them, but what it is, you're uncertain beyond the obvious communicator that straps down to the chin and allows them to talk to the rest of the security here on the premises.
I don't test positive like for like going through a metal detector, do I?
No, you do not.
Okay, because though I look the part, I'm not actually
Be right back
any
again.
type of metallic.
Right.
So
Mhm.
okay.
So getting through security is not a big deal unless anybody happens to be trying to sneak in any weapons.
You said what's her name?
Well,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
Sagan.
Yeah, Sagan. However, that does pass a check because it's not technically on her person.
Yeah.
It's in hammer space.
Basically.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything, they would be like, oh, she's got a pager or something like that. That's about it.
Are we allowed to call out Henshin and Go-Go whenever we transform?
You have to say the magic word.
Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Henshin and Go-Go is from Beautiful Joe, which was a GameCube game back in the early 2000s.
So I think you've answered your question there. We are currently in 94.
So no, you technically can't.
Yes. There you go. But if it helps, White Zombie is still a thing right now.
Gotcha.
And will be for a few years.
Yes. So, when you go inside, you actually walk through the main hall of the location. The inside, right, from the main door is kind of what you would expect from a building like this. It is a pretty big, kind of a reception area with a number of fine art pieces on the walls. A lot. Obviously, there's some furnishings in here. I mean, everything looks pretty expensive. Into the foyer. There is a dining area that you would just go through. They've got the double doors all open, and you can see that it looks like everything is taking place on the porch and the grounds behind the building. The dining
Gotcha.
area, it looks like it would probably seat, let's see, up to 12 people. Clearly, there's more people here than that. But I mean, the seating and everything in here is still here. Nobody's done anything with it, and there's obviously no places set for the food. They've got catering and everything out in the back. There is a wood burning fireplace in the dining area and the adjacent backside of the porch, so it kind of interlinks there. So it's got a nice kind of ambiance going on. There must be 100 people here easy, all just talking, intermingling, chatting. Again, everybody dressed up in various fashions. It's clear that some of the women that have come here have seen this as a
Fishing expedition.
and a social place to be to get seen. This is like, if you're in that scene, this is probably one of the parties you want to be invited to,
Right.
regardless of the fact it's for business purposes. It's one of those things.
I thought I was supposed to make all the fish puns.
You're rubbing off on your sister.
You're off the hook.
This game is off the hook.
So as we're like walking in and starting to mingle, then Mark would turn to the rest and be like, "Well, you can either, of course, follow me. I'm going to see if I can find Mr. McLaren to see what's the itinerary for tonight. You can mingle, follow me, whatever you'd like."
I'm going to follow you because I'd like to meet him too.
Very well.
Yeah, I'll come.
Who is Mr. McLaren? Wasn't he like the guy who runs the day-to-day operations?
Donovan McLaren is the
He's
wealthy
the billionaire.
investor who helped Quantum Unlimited with the money to start the transistor drive stuff.
He's gonna go mingle.
Okay.
Sean's like, yes, thank you. He can't embarrass me.
What about Ixion?
Never done this before. I'm tagging along with Mark.
Okay, fair enough. So Angler is the only one that kind of steers off from the group to go mingle and make his way around. It's not hard to find Donovan at all, given the fact that he's the life of the party, and it seems like many people here are trying to talk to him to some degree. So he's doing the dutiful host thing and making his way around to this crowd or that crowd and trying to make sure that everybody there that wanted FaceTime with him is getting FaceTime with him, being very judicious about it. But as you guys kind of position yourself within his eyesight, he eventually comes walking over. He's in a nice suit, white shirt left open. So no like tie or anything. He's got a little bit of jewelry on. His brown hair has been pulled back and kind of into a ponytail. He has a little bit of like that 5 o'clock shadow, so he looks nice, but a little ruggedly handsome, for as a way to put it. And as he approaches, he says, "Mark, glad you could make it." He sticks out his hand.
Donovan, a pleasure. Go ahead and shake his hand.
Okay. And he says, "I take it these are these employees of yours, or just a group of friends? I didn't know you were going to be bringing so many. Not that that's an issue."
Yes, well, you're looking at least 3 of the heads of department at Quantum Unlimited. We have Carmen Cook, Ixion, and Miranda.
Are we going by? I don't think I'm going by Ixion out of character, just because. So, I know it wasn't typically used, but Stephen Fetters is my
Oh, that's
public
right.
name.
Okay, I would say Stephen Fetters. Then.
Also, we've met. Remember we did that demonstration?
Yeah, he has met a few of you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
'Cause
remember.
I talked to him about the nanotech.
Yeah, okay.
Remember he thought I was the race girl.
That is correct.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he and of course you've introduced everybody, and he looks to the woman standing next to Carmen, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, you are," and she just says, "Sagan, just Sagan, sir." And he says, "Oh, I see you brought security."
Yes, just thought that it would be prudent. She's been extremely helpful at Quantum Unlimited. She even helped to apprehend one individual who would have caused us harm.
Oh, well. Okay, well, great. I hope all of you enjoy the party. We actually have some. I haven't shared it with you or anybody else just yet, but we have some interesting announcements to make. I'm sure you're going to like it. Outside of that, obviously, make yourselves at home. There's plenty to snack on or drink if that's your fancy. If there's anything you need from me, obviously I'll be around. I've just got a lot of people that need FaceTime.
Of course, you're a busy host. We'll let you get to it.
Oh, thanks. It was nice meeting you all. Some of you again. Enjoy the party.
Thank you.
Then Mark turns to the 3 and says, "Excellent. So, at this point, perhaps a taste of the refreshments they have, without me, of course, but I'm sure the rest of you would enjoy it."
Oh, that makes 2 of us.
You're muted, Shelley.
Does that mean I get to have a drink too?
Yes, but try to avoid overindulging like last time if possible.
Okay.
And I don't need to imbibe either, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Well then, whoever wants to join me, I'll simply be trying to make connections with others here. See who's actually, who knows Donovan, and all the others.
Carmen
I'll go with
feels super awkward, so she's gonna make a beeline for a drink.
Okay. So as you
I'll follow. Yeah, she'll follow Carmen. She's gonna keep her eye on Donovan though.
okay. So as you guys split again, those of you making your way to the refreshment table, Sagan leans into Carmen and he says, "Ma'am, he recognized me.
What do you mean?
I don't know if I've compromised anything, but he knew who I was. I could tell."
Have you met before?
Not like that, no.
Hmm.
But given that his home nation of Senia is a hot topic button of well, in the political world of things, especially where deviants are concerned, I'm kind of not surprised.
Hmm. Okay. I guess we'll watch and see what happens.
Should I fall back and blend in with the crowd to try and draw attention away from you?
I'm going to relay this to the group via our communicator and ask for advice.
Okay.
Then Mark would subvocalize and respond, "That may be a good idea. She does have experience in actually blending in with crowds. And technically, you don't need that much in the form of security yourself. So I would suggest she does back off for now and blend in."
Okay.
Let her enjoy herself.
Is she likely to do that?
No, she's not. But
Are,
let her.
I mean,
let her at
are
least
you
attempt
asking her or?
No, I'm asking the audience. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's
Okay.
what I thought. Okay.
It's all right. A lot of other people have private security here. You just don't notice them.
Good point.
Mm-hmm. At least you don't notice the good ones.
Can I do an empathy check on Donovan? See if anything stands out.
Sure, if you'd like.
White.
Wait, what?
White feet.
Oh, white feet. Okay. You try to focus in. There's a lot of minds and emotions at this party right now. So that is probably why you're not picking up anything. You're having a hard time focusing.
Okay.
So Angler, as you are kind of camped out, and or were you just mingling in general, or when you
Yeah,
first
he's
split?
not
Okay.
staying to one place. He's shaking hands with anyone who seems to be introducing themselves around.
Okay.
Just so
Sure. So
Freddy Fingers, oceanographer,
mhm.
environmentalist.
Gotcha. So so as you kind of broke off originally from the rest of them and are looking around and chatting with, making small talk with some of the people there, nobody's standing out initially. Then you end up hold on one second. Where did it go? There we go. You end up meeting an individual. Actually, he had just grabbed a drink off of one of the trays that are going around. And he is talking to a very beautiful woman standing a little over 6 feet tall, long black hair. She's got that statuesque kind of figure. She is in a sleeveless dress.
Is she green?
No.
Okay.
But good question. She does have heels on, but it looks like they are very conservative. So even though she is in kind of a black sleeveless backless dress, she's not exposing a whole lot. Like the dress comes down, to her knees. There's a little keyhole on her chest, but it's not like, boob window power girl sort of look. Very, very nice, subtle earrings, nothing like dangling or whatnot. It's more decor rather than just gaudiness to her. The man talking to her at this point, short, trimmed, black hair, carrying himself very much like somebody who's probably a salesman or has been at some point in time. So he clearly knows how to work somebody or a crowd. Nice kind of dark suit with a tie that is like black and red kind of striped. And he's talking with her. You end up overhearing part of their conversation, and it sounds like the man is actually with Health Systems Incorporated.
I don't know who that is, do I?
That's not your world, so probably not.
What color was her dress again?
Her dress is black.
Okay. You'll stand around and listen to their conversation.
Okay.
Are they talking about anything specific?
They're actually talking about the current situation in Rwanda.
Like real world Rwanda, or
Yes.
Okay.
So they're actually talking right now about like relief efforts to go into the area. And apparently, from what little bit you pick up from her, she is actually with the UN.
Okay. I had to look up 94 Rwanda, by the way, which shows you how good I am with history.
No, that's fine. I appreciate the effort, actually.
Does it tell you where Rwanda is?
That isn't what his map is for. No, Justin is bad with history.
No, and that's fine.
It looks like it is. It's in South America, next to.
Rwanda.
Is that Brazil?
Rwanda. I don't think Rwanda is in South
Rwanda's
America.
in Africa.
Africa.
Yeah.
Oh, Africa. Oh,
Africa.
yeah. Okay.
True Justin fashion.
Completely wrong continent. Completely wrong continent.
We've got a lot of feedback coming from somebody.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not me.
Brittany, it looks like it might be coming from you. Yep.
It was like toot 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 toot.
Yep.
toot, toot, toot,
Completely
Yeah.
wrong continent. Wow.
Yeah.
I even looked up a map. I was looking at Africa. That is not the shape of South America. What does Justin say?
sorry about that. It's because I pulled up the wiki page and it has us streaming at the bottom, and I didn't notice.
Yes.
Anyways, now that I'm done being an idiot.
I
Me
didn't.
too.
In fairness, I didn't think it started automatically, so that's good to know too.
Yeah.
So, as an FYI, you can actually watch the stream from our webpage too.
Sorry about that.
You'll say so. Besides like a lot of the standard efforts, is there anything else that's being done right now that needs to be helped out with?
Okay, so they both kind of stop and look at you, and the man says, "I'm sorry. Who are you?"
Freddy Fingers. I'm an environmentalist. I'm working with Quantum Unlimited right now as a head of one of their departments, looking for sustainability with ocean life, and hopefully I'm gonna try and get him to move a little money for sustainable fishing.
He says, "Oh, okay. I'm checking real quick to see if he might have heard of you. There is a chance." He says, "Oh, yes, you're that gentleman that did the biography recently, correct?"
Yeah, on the waters out here in Strongford.
Yes, yes.
I will be
see.
back.
Okay, I seem to recall something about that being on TV. He says, "My name is Henry Voss. I'm with Health Services or Health Systems Incorporated." And he says, and next to me, of course, this is Hannah Abrams. She is actually with the United Nations. And she just kind of smiles and waves.
Hannah, what?
Hannah, what?
Abrams. Like the tank. Abrams. Angler, since you're here, give me an intuition check.
My intuition, I think, is pretty good.
So you might have a good hunch.
RM. Yellow.
Okay. So Hannah Abrams is the civilian name for Israeli Shield. She's actually the leader of the United Nations superhuman group. They're called the Guardians, by the way.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Hannah.
And she, nodded and smiled, and she looked to Henry at that point, when you posed that question, and he says, I couldn't honestly say. It's kind of above my pay grade. I just know that there's obviously a need for an increase in medical technology for this destitute third world country. And he looks to Hannah, and she says, it's a very delicate situation. It's not something that I am intimately familiar with at this point in time. I take my marching orders from whoever is elected the leader of the United Nations and our officials therein. She says, but I do believe the United Nations is going to be stepping up their efforts to bring in increased protection as well as relief, probably within the next couple of months. I just don't know when exactly, because I'm not actually a part of those conversations.
I'm not fully read into the situation. I've been out of town for the last month or so, so I apologize. But is at least Doctor Without Borders getting involved so far?
Yes. They actually are. We are, and in fact, as are the protectors, given the the genocide that has been taking place there in recent months. So it's actually something that's taken up quite a bit of our time. It's more of a matter of trying to find individuals on the ground that will work with us and not just take basically the supplies that we're trying to give to them and resell them or mark them up and price gouge the locals with them for it.
Mention the med scanner.
Sadly, the war brings out the worst in some people, brings out the best in others, as I'm sure you know.
It does.
I will say this: Quantum Unlimited has been working on some new technology that might be helpful. We have I forget what department she leads, but one of my colleagues, Carmen, she's around here tonight, was working on an invention that would act like a portable med scanner. So we could be more effective in taking care of the sick and the injured.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people at Quantum Unlimited were very affected by everything that happened in Argentina. And one of the things that we thought might be helpful is being able to identify people and seeing if they're sick or, again, best and worst of people. About making sure that we can identify the root cause of a problem before it gets too bad.
And Henry at that point, just nods and he says that part of that's actually the reason why we're actually here, or I'm here, I should say, for my company. We're if the news that he's about to announce is the news that I think it's going to be, we're probably going to try and purchase as many units as we can, but I need to work on those details with him. And Hannah ends up, as she took the information that the both of you said, and she says, and she looked to you and she says, so you were involved in Argentina with Quantum Unlimited?
No, many of the people in the company were affected by it. They had relatives down there, and they feel for the plight of individuals with different abilities.
So
I know a lot of people like to call them deviants, but you can call them superpowered individuals or whatever the case may be.
Interesting. I had no idea that your company had such a vested interest in Argentina. That's
we didn't have a vested interest in it, but the people back at the office in Strongford were very, very touched by what was going down. There's
okay. She lets that go by, but you can tell she let it go by.
I'm 6'7". Can I see Mark?
Yes.
Hey Mark, and he's gonna wave at him.
Mark will wave back and then start making his way over.
If y'all are here to see him, let me go ahead and introduce you to Mark, the CEO.
Okay, of course.
So Mark walks up.
This is Hannah Abrams from the UN, and this is Henry Voss from Health Systems. They were just discussing the situation going on in Rwanda, and I'm thinking that we might have some new devices that might be able to help them out.
I see. Yes. Thank you, Freddie. Yes. Henry, Hannah. Excellent. So nice to meet you. Mark Annette. And he offers his hand, shakes their hand.
Okay.
Hannah, while they're talking, may I take a moment of your time?
He's there long enough to get introduced in. He's going to try and take a ride. And she says, of course. That she says, pardon me one moment.
Of course.
Is there an actual dance floor?
Yes, there is.
And he'll hold out his hand, and he's trying to be polite just so we can talk real quick.
Okay, why don't you roll your popularity?
Okay, this is not going to go well. What's my popularity? Oh, my public popularity is actually pretty good.
But is it your superhero identity or your identity?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Remember, the high one that you guys should probably make sure this is noted. The higher of the two right now is definitely your superhero identity.
Oh, then I am at a 0. I thought I had more. I could
I know I'm at 0. I know I'm at 0.
So what do I roll for a shift 0? Oh, I guess you can. You can still roll that, can't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you fail, Sean doesn't know you.
Admonished.
That's not working.
Shift 0 should be S0.
Oh, S0?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Got a green
Oh!
feet.
What did he get?
Woohoo.
A
You got
60
78
or
for a green
78.
feet.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Okay, so she knows you for a little bit longer.
so
Yeah.
so she tilts her head a little and motions for you to go out to the dance floor.
It's like, I recognized who you were. You are, for lack of better phrasing, statuesque.
So you invited me out to the floor to say I'm statuesque?
No, we. I have, as a few of my siblings would say, foot and mouth syndrome.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yes. I don't seem to know when to keep my mouth shut sometimes, and I apologize for that.
Oh, I see. See, I thought it was you were implying that your company was heavily involved with the conflict in Argentina, which that would be, a pretty big concern of mine, given the fact that those were Nazis.
Yeah, long story. Needless to say, there was more to it than what was going on. And no,
I gathered that.
we were not on side of the corrupt locals.
I didn't imply that you were, just that it was interesting that you chose Argentina.
Well, whenever it comes to superpowered individuals, anytime you see something like that hit the news, it is a very big deal. Especially for a company like Mark's, where it's a large focus on trying to get superpowered individuals into the right places so they can do the best for the world. Understanding our abilities.
Is this public knowledge
No,
of the companies?
not yet. No.
No,
It
I
is
thought that was public knowledge that he
it
was
is not.
hiring.
Yeah, he is, but it's not public knowledge as of yet. The big focus right now is still on the medical tech and like the hard drive and everything he's putting in.
I thought that was public knowledge. I thought that was like known that he was hiring.
No, he is doing all of that. It's not something that they've advertised though.
Right.
Okay, take that back. She doesn't know you.
Yeah. So she says, I see. So you're actually, I think it would be fair to say, heavily invested in SPBs.
Foot and mouth syndrome. Yes. My other two triplets are a little bit better known than I am. Current in Deepwater.
Deep sea. Close.
Deep sea, yeah.
You probably know them by their current names, Current and Deep Sea. And he says that one a little bit under his breath.
Okay. So she kind of looks kind of surprised and she says, so that makes you the angler.
Yes. No, he would have had a different name at the time.
I know you would have.
Oh. Yes,
so she says,
We might as well just transform to our uniforms right now.
out of character right now. The conversation of anglers screaming about conversations on the phone. You can just toss that one out the window right now.
Right. Yeah.
So she is never going to let him live this down.
Says the person trying to pick up on.
So she's
She's just trying to get a sugar daddy, not expose all of us. She's just trying to expose herself.
she says, so that was an interesting bit of work. I wasn't aware that you worked with Nazis to fight Nazis.
I said long story.
Our popularity just tanked.
But our infamy
Jurgen-
just went through the roof.
long
I guess-
story.
I guess the Israelis
You-
have a strong opinion about
Yes,
the Nazis.
yes, they would have a
yes,
they would have a very strong opinion on yes. So
Hmm.
yeah,
And it was
so
beyond my individual choice to work with him.
really,
There's much more to the story.
shame you won't have time to finish it.
I think it would probably take. How long would it take to adapt the Lord of the Rings into a movie?
She says probably 3 or 4 DVDs.
Yeah.
What are DVDs?
Oh, they were just coming out at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They were exclusive. Not everybody had them, but they were there. That's when they still had the laser discs.
Laser
Yep, and
disc.
cassettes were going out and CDs were coming in.
So is there anything else you want to confess, like any war crimes or anything of that nature, since we're here? I'm clearly you're being very forthcoming. Or should I just expect you to goose step away?
Oh my
No,
gosh.
that's not going to happen. If I could have, I would have blown up the carrier when it arrived. And he looks over because Sagan's probably nearby right now.
Oh yeah. So as you look over, Sagan is giving you the evil eye right now.
Carmen has another drink.
So give it to me straight.
She says, "So, Mr. Fingers, I believe we can call this conversation at an end.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll leave it as politely as that."
He just looks dejected at this point. I did not even think about the rest of the implications there, and I'm a screw up. So that's all.
Whoopsie.
Famous quote. Don't.
Right.
Famous last words. Why does this cave look like a mouth?
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's hard to roll a 001.
So,
You rolled a 0001.
Yeah, so Dale, in talking as you've made idle chit chat with Henry, obviously he's here to basically pre-purchase if the news that Donovan is about to give, he's about to pre-purchase a bunch of units and whatnot. So, but what you end up picking up on is Health Systems Incorporated is one of these companies that they're not only do they develop some of their own medical systems, but they resell too.
Okay.
So they tend to resell to small to moderate sized businesses.
Which do they do more of? Do they do more of the reselling or developing their own tech?
They do more of the reselling.
Gotcha.
So that's
Okay.
one of the big reasons why he's here. Obviously, it's clear that that the buzz about the tech is important enough that they want to get their greedy little hands on it, which is just all dollar signs for you.
Gotcha. Then yeah, Hyperion would of course be hyping that up and mentioning that that Carmen was also instrumental in creating the device, so he'll probably be very impressed by its capabilities. Yada yada yada.
Sure. So then he goes, Carmen Cook?
That's correct. Yes, she's the head of our applied sciences division at Quantum Unlimited.
Oh, yeah. No, I already know her. Worked with her a couple times when she was with Shadestone. Good to
I
see that
see.
she's back up on her feet. But then I take it then you don't have any problems with her being a
Take that
deviant.
character.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
In fact, the term deviant, we actually have a company policy to not use such a normalized slur. We now refer to them as empowered, and we have actually started a pilot program where, ever since the fiasco that was the Riverside crisis completed, we've been actually trying to reach out to more and more empowered individuals and provide them with employment, and also to see if we can study their mutation to attempt to perhaps incorporate that into future technology.
Oh, I see. I mean, I kind of assumed you wouldn't have had an issue given the fact that you're actually here with at Mr. McLaren's home, and he's being from Senia. So, but no, I mean that's great. I mean somebody's got to do it, right?
Precisely. I believe it's important that we move forward, that we stop with this prejudice. It's hurt society for so many generations. Somebody needs to step forward.
I mean, good. I can't say I'm a political kind of guy, but I've gotten wind of some of the things that have come out of New Prussia, and I gotta say I'm super impressed. So, I mean, it is what it is. If I can, the best way I can put it is, if it makes dollars, it makes sense.
I agree. I agree. And with respect to New Prussia, I definitely agree there as well. It seems that the technology they provide and what they just demonstrated, what with the Argentina debacle, it's light years ahead of even what the United States has. So perhaps Quantum Unlimited can even the playing field.
Oh, well, color me interested. And he hands you his business card. If there's anything we can do to perhaps move some of your product, or maybe even coordinate with something, I'd be happy to run that up the chain of command and see what we can get done.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, and with that, if there was anything that you wanted to collaborate on when it comes to medical technology, of course, don't hesitate to give me a call. And goes ahead and hands him Mark's business card too.
Okay. So go ahead and put down on your character sheet that you have Henry Voss from Health Systems Incorporated as a contact.
Right. Awesome. He says, well, should probably continue to mingle. That's the point of these soirees, is it not? So I'll bid you adieu for now.
Okay. Sean, since you've been keeping a really close eye on his posterior, give me an intuition check.
Okay. Get over to the right one. Okay.
You need to capitalize it.
Oh, do I?
Yeah,
Okay. Gosh.
I know it's very picky.
No,
Oh,
the
just-
roll is
Just the
just
MN
the MN,
needs to be
yeah.
capitalized. Yeah.
It is too picky. Okay. Third time's a charm.
There you go.
Nice.
Yellow feet.
Okay.
Yeller.
So as you have been keeping an eye on Donovan McLaren, you can see that the woman that Angler had been talking to has actually pulled him off to the side.
Okay.
And she seems to be in a impassioned discussion with him.
Just gonna glance over at Freddie. And then she's going to walk over to him.
Walk over to who?
Freddie.
Okay. Freddie at this point has probably just stepped off of the dance floor, and given the fact that he was embarrassed, you like when you come walking up to him, he just pounds like a red Solo cup or a glass or something of alcohol and is ready to get another.
Yes. That vodka is not going to drink itself.
I take it that you crashed and burned.
Oh, if it were only that simple.
Well, I noticed that the girl you were trying to woo is now in a very serious conversation with our host. What did you say?
Woo, nothing. He gets close. He says no. He does the subdermal thing. She's an SPC Israelite shield or Israel shield. I forget
Israeli
the exact
shield.
phrase. Israeli shield.
Okay, and that has her upset. Why?
Because she put it together who my twins are.
Well, your twins are
And guess
buttheads.
what? Guess where I was seen and doing and working with. And he pounds the next one.
You told her that?
She figured it out. She works for the UN. She works for the Defenders. And guess what? Intel between the Defenders and those self-righteous pricks gets exchanged.
I'll be right back again.
Sure.
Bam! Down goes the third one.
Why don't you give me an endurance check? Just need a green feat.
Now this is where I'm going to fail. Even though it's an amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I'm going to say it like I said in the chat. It's not always the moments that are incredible successes that are awesome. Sometimes it's the failures that are just as amazing.
This is true.
This is, yeah.
So after you pound that third one, wow, this is potent. And you realize you weren't pounding beer, you actually just pounded like an entire glass of vodka.
Yeah, the vodka ain't gonna drink itself.
And she's gonna use the subdermal, and she's going to tell Hyperion that maybe he should meander over this direction.
And then you end up hearing on the comm, oh yeah, so he can blow up the carrier there as well?
And that was
Yes.
Sagan talking,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah. I need to talk to Freddy then. One moment. Let me see if I can. There he is drinking, I see.
Oh, he's
And
going for
Mark-
the front door now.
Mark's still going to make his way to see if he can
Okay, sure.
catch up to Freddy.
So while you're catching up to him, so Carmen, you caught the fact that Israeli Shield and Donovan were over there talking, and it looks like they're in a bit of an argument.
Can I do? It's probably bad manners to cloak myself and listen in, isn't it?
Probably.
Only if you get
it's-
caught.
It's, however, completely in the realm of possibility, given your powers.
However, there's a but there.
You are surrounded by people and you suddenly vanishing.
I mean, I wouldn't do it like from the.
Right,
I
yeah.
don't think I've
Yeah.
drunk that much. It was that or do an empathy check, which is less helpful, but yeah, whatever. We'll do the empathy first.
Okay.
Okay. Just copy my previous one. Text. Green.
Okay. They're both angry. But Donovan is a bit more defensive than she is.
Okay. I think I'm going to. I'll just relay to the group with communicator what I'm seeing, and that it seems like. Well, I mean, I can't actually hear anything that they're saying, right?
Not from where you're at, no.
Okay.
You would have to get in closer.
I'll just say, anyone know what that's about?
Yeah, it's Freddy.
What did he do?
What did he not do? He stuck his foot in his mouth again.
And,
Was it on
and
camera?
Sagan says, seconded.
By the way, Freddy normally doesn't stick his foot in his mouth. He was being clever. Y'all are thinking of DQ, who's constantly sticking his foot in his mouth.
Should we?
I'm leaving right now.
Should we do anything?
I don't know. I think we're going to need to do some maybe public
Damage control.
yeah, resurrection. Yes.
I'm going to talk to Freddy and see what happened specifically, and then I'll see about talking directly to Donovan, because that's likely what they're discussing.
Should I try to eavesdrop?
It would probably be helpful.
Okay, I'm gonna look for like an alcove or something where I can go out of sight.
Oh, there's you see what the place looks like. There's plenty of them.
Okay, so I'll find a dark corner somewhere to disappear and then make my way back over to.
Sure.
I'll keep my eye on Donovan.
And Ixion, what are you doing in the meantime?
I was with Hyperion, but since he's kind of going over there, I'm just kind of just hanging out. Well, look, just kind of seeing if I notice anything else going on. Kind of keeping an eye on that, but also looking around to see if there's anything else going on.
Sure. Okay. Why don't you give me an intuition check?
Okay.
As you just kind of crowd watch.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It seems like Donovan and that other woman are talking.
Okay. It's being powered by some form of electricity.
Yes. It was, well, let's see. How close was I? I was very close, but still. Actually, I do have 2 rerolls, but I don't know. You know what? I'll go ahead and do it. I'll go ahead and reroll. Just because I have 2 of them and I have points to do it again or to buy more if I absolutely. Yellow. Okay.
So as you take a moment and kind of scan the crowd,
one of those. Yes.
You can you also see another very well-dressed man, older, probably in his 50s at this point. So he's got some streaks of gray in his black hair.
Mm-hmm.
He is also in a nice suit. He has somebody who's clearly security standing next to him. Probably came with him, kind of a bigger looking gentleman. But he does seem to be, talking to several people at once. So for whatever reason, people here seem to be giving him some difference as well.
All right. I'll go over there
Okay.
and kind of, just kind of stand in and see what he's speaking of. Kind of take a spot in the crowd,
Sure.
since it seems to be the norm in that general vicinity, I guess.
They're currently talking about what the announcements, going to be about, and potential future technology, and the people are they bounce questions off of him, like asking him kind of like as if he's an important individual, and he's making some comments about, how the United States is woefully behind technologically compared to someplace like New Prussia, and he says, but if anybody can break through that glass ceiling, he says it will be the bright minds at the company that he runs, which is Shadestone Incorporated.
He's the CEO, I would assume, then.
Correct.
Or some sort of interesting.
And so as they're bouncing more questions off of him, he's clearly interested to see just what this medical scanner is all about, what the rest of the information that they're talking about. Somebody ends up bouncing another question off of him, and he comments that they have they have a new gel that they have in production right now that it works as a natural sealant, which should be on the market here soon, once the FDA gets done finalizing their review of it. The sealant promises to work twice as effective, or possibly 3 times as effective as any sort of stitching might work. Also acts as has anti-inflammatory and infection properties. So it promises to increase it promises to assist those in the emergency healthcare facilities, such as like paramedics, urgent cares, ERs, and help with like gunshot wounds and things of that nature, to not only help with the healing process, but keep it safe, and making it more affordable, and has less of an impact on the world as far as keeping it green is concerned, because you're not having to throw away dirty bandages or anything of that nature.
Right.
Um,
That is wonderful.
Out of character, you guys may have forgotten. Shadestone is the company where Carmen used to work. That
Right.
I mean, obviously, that she was fired from when it was found that, or leaked, that she was deviant. But also, Reich Shield provided data that Carmen went through with the group that was evidence that they had her mother killed in the hospital.
When
So-
you were born?
No, when I was
Oh.
in like junior high.
Oh.
But yeah, my mother was in hospital, and anyway, that you guys have seen that evidence, the same
Right.
Carmen has. So in case you forgot about that. There you
That is some wonderful advancements in medical technology. I would venture to say that it would be interesting to see how the medical field incorporates that and some of the things that some of your competitors are coming out with the scanners and such.
And he's got a glass, a drink in one hand, and he says, "It does appear to be very promising. I think that at least medically speaking, we might be able to gain some ground and perhaps get a stronger foothold in the world market. Hopefully within next 10 years, but I want to try and shave that down some."
Wonderful, wonderful. I wish you best of luck in the endeavors to increase the capabilities of healthcare and trauma relief for those in need.
Well, thank you, and some of the other people there, you kind of mirror, the sentiment.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of, I mean, if he's kind of done doing his like more or less pseudo presentation, or self.
It was more. He kind of garnered an audience because of who he was, and so people just started picking his brain. So
right.
So then, Lightbringer, you getting close to the heated conversation between Donovan and Hannah, and you quickly pick up on the word Nazi being thrown around, and she is she's railing on him at this point about inviting Nazi sympathizers to this party, and in fact that he's working with Nazi sympathizers. And Donovan's like, whoa, hold on a second, Hannah, hold on. He's like, first of all, I'm not too sure what exactly it is you're referring to. And then as soon as she says that, she points directly at Sagan, and then she points over in the direction where Angler was, and she says, "You've got a sympathizer, and you've got I don't know, a neo-Nazi or something over there in the corner," and so he's just like, "Okay, hang on, you hit me with a lot of information up front. First of all, my background, my people, okay, where I've come from, and I'm not going to stand for that sort of racist garbage. Second of all, I haven't even had a chance to look into this, so you're going to have to give me time to to dig in and figure this out. And while I appreciate you're not making a big show of this at my party, I would appreciate the N word to be dropped a couple decibels here, perhaps not said at all right now. Not because I want to cover up for anybody, but I'm still trying to do business here, and I don't want to scare off any investors." And she kind of scoffs at that, and with that particular comment, and he says, "Look, give me a chance to look into it first before you start getting all like angry and and whatnot. I don't even know that woman over there. She's a +1 to the Quantum Unlimited attaché that came to the party tonight. I if you give me time, I'll look into it." And so she's she kind of stared him down for a second, and she says, "Look," and he says, "Look, seriously, just give me a moment. I don't know everything clearly here, but once I get some information, then I'll act on it." And he's like, "In the meantime, take a walk and get a breath and maybe get a drink or something." And so she's just like, her eyes narrow and kind of stare at him. She's like, "Fine." And she goes walking off.
Do I see Joan paying attention?
Oh, she's paying it. She's watching.
Okay.
Okay, then I'll leave her to Donovan, and I'll follow Hannah.
Okay. So Hyperion and Angler, you guys have made your way like straight through the estate at this point and out in the front, gone through the courtyard and waiting for the limo at this point to come back around as Angler's kind of doing that, kind of pacing back and forth.
So Mark walks up.
Well,
Yeah.
Pacing back and forth is probably being generous. He's more like wandering back and forth because he clearly can't walk a straight line right now.
So Mark walks up and is like, Freddie, I hear you got into a bit of social trouble. What happened exactly?
I don't have a good way to say it in public right now. And he's like tapping. He's clearly shaking. And he
Hyperion.
says really quietly, "You're lucky I just haven't flown off, but I don't want to do that to you or your company right now. So I'm going to wait for the damn limo. Then I'm going to get about a mile away and tell him to turn right back around, and then I'm going to fly back."
And one moment, and Mark looks around, like how many other people are like nearby within earshot of like us?
There's the valet and like 2 security guards.
Okay. Would there be a place where we could walk off still just outside,
Yeah.
where we would be farther away? Okay.
Yeah.
And so Mark's like, walk with me for a moment. Let's work through this. We can work on this together. You don't have to go at this alone. Follow me, please.
He'll follow.
So we walk a decent distance away so that it's not obvious for people to hear. And then Mark turns like, you know me. I'm very analytical, methodical. I don't judge you. I simply require information to help you.
She is a hero working for the UN.
The woman you were talking to. I see.
Yes.
And what was said?
Essentially, I fumbled every single thing I said and effectively made it seem like we were invested, like actually invested, in the lovely new Prussian president. Which, yes, if you're listening, Sagan, I would have burned down that carrier if I could have gotten away with it.
All right. Then what exactly does she know at this point?
She knows at least Angler. And wow, look, a group of 5 people show up together. We're in Argentina, was being taken care of by the new Prussian forces, led by a Nazi. Oh, sorry, not a Nazi. Led by a racist. And certain people have a big problem with anyone who deals with people who deal with Nazis. Sorry, not Nazis. And he's actually doing this number.
Right.
Racist.
Then is she aware of your other identity, I take it?
She is. Why? Because the UN and the US forces often share information, especially about superpowered individuals, and especially if they have 2 twins that work for the US government.
I see. So she is upset that you, along with those you were working with, helped Jurgen in Argentina to end the war.
That is the perception. The perception is that we were there with Jurgen. Not Jurgen showed up later to protect his... That Jurgen showed up later, but that we were there for Jurgen. And trying to convince someone who already believes the very worst is a fleeting battle that I don't wish to engage in.
Understandable. I'm sorry that that happened. We can do what we can to mitigate anything that would come from this. I doubt anything terrible would happen.
Not unless Jurgen, the not Nazi racist, comes out tomorrow and says, "Hey, look, I showed up there because I saw a tragedy. These schmucks were just there." And now he's pacing again. Why? Why do we have to work with them?
We
Mainframe
weren't
to Hyperion.
Hyperion here. What is it, mainframe?
Recommendation: water, 3 ibuprofen, and bone broth for syntax error.
That may be a good
Computer's talking
idea.
shit now.
Now?
Let me get a
You-
decent far away. Let me go to my apartment and let me just drown for a night.
Understood. If you need any help, please contact us.
And then he'll walk back over for the limo, and then once it gets a mile away, he'll just fly home.
Okay.
Like, he'll let the limo leave, and then he'll fly home.
Okay.
So then Mark
He takes
heads.
his normal precautions. He lands like a mile away, then he walks home. But he has alcohol at his
Yep.
apartment.
Yep. So why don't you give me a psyche check?
He's drunk flying.
I'm letting my brother drink and fly. Oh no.
Psyche. Good thing that's amazing.
Nice.
Oh, he flies better when he's drunk.
That's been the secret this whole time.
Okay.
That's how we solve these problems.
So you're able to keep it focused enough, despite the
He's
fact
like the
that you're really
drunken
buzzing
master.
that you're like, okay, I need to fly, I need to hit this mark, and then walk the rest of the way, and you're at least able to keep it focused on that and get home without a problem.
Yes, and then he actually drowns himself in alcohol.
Okay. So back to the party.
Mark heads back in and he sees if he can start making his way to Donovan to find him again.
Yeah, Donovan looks like he's looking for somebody. And then when you like catch eyes with him, he does one of these, like motions you over.
Like notices him, heads over to Donovan.
Okay, so he says, pretty big problem.
Yes, I take it you spoke to Hannah Abrams. Was it about what she heard from Freddie?
Yes. Among other things, apparently you have a racist bodyguard?
No. To explain, that bodyguard, her name is Sagan. She has been given a special detail for reasons I am not at liberty to provide to guard at least one member of Quantum Unlimited. She is also an employee. She is from New Prussia. But to clarify, New Prussians, based on what everyone has said, they're not Nazis or neo-Nazis. I understand that President Jurgen New Prussia, clearly decades ago, was on the wrong side of history. But those who actually study what's going on in New Prussia would find that they're not following in those footsteps. It's not exactly perfect there by any stretch of the imagination. However, it is, of course, very enticing for anyone with superpowers. They are treated exceptionally well there.
Right.
But again,
I'm aware of that much.
But again, there is no sympathizing with anyone. In fact, quite the opposite. Well, to be truthful, there are things that I need to keep essentially on the down low for the time being, just with regard to any social stances, with regard to superpowered beings. I'm sure you understand. I don't want everyone to be afraid of just being who they are. You may have heard that even at Quantum Unlimited, we recently hired Aegis Foundation agents to guard because we had been attacked at least once by other superpowered villains.
Right.
Well, because of what's happened recently, especially at the Riverside crisis, that's why we've been currently trying to hire more and more superpowered beings. What's that? Oh, is it Fair? It's Fairview? Oh, I thought it was Fair. Okay. At Fairview.
Riverside, I believe, Riverview is actually a district in Strongford.
Oh, that's right.
But it was in Fairview because we kept calling it Fairside.
Okay.
This
All right,
name
so-
keeps evolving.
Yeah. So
Freddy is wearing off on you.
Right, exactly. Oh no.
Oh no!
Everyone's grasp of geography is just
What country are we in?
Antarctica.
Finland.
Africa.
Yeah. We'll just make new countries now.
And continents.
Okay. So he's like, so because of that crisis, we've been hiring more superpowered beings. We no longer at the company call them deviants. We call them empowered humans. And we do everything we can to try to change that part of society, at least in our way, in our culture. We're even trying to see what we can do with regard to superpowers to turn them into possibly devices. That way, that can be shared with the masses. And perhaps that would decrease the amount of prejudice leveled against the empowered community worldwide. It's at least a start. I don't know if it will be fully effective, but it's something that doesn't seem like it's been tried yet. But beyond that, there was some interaction between Freddy and forces in Argentina. But if you've seen in the news, Heinrich himself was actually captured. And it seems as if that was primarily due to, I believe it was the legacy from here in Strongford, in fact.
Yeah, you apparently have a member working for you.
That's correct. I won't hide it. It's obvious, and I don't need to actually say that there's anything wrong with it. He is an upstanding individual.
Okay, I've heard enough. Fair enough. Obviously, this news has come at a very bad time. I'm going to chalk this up to a new business relationship. New business relationship. That's a good enough reason to say mistakes were made. But when something is borderline, tell your buddy Donovan area, let's have that conversation before like this happens, because we're about to release something that's got, I think you're really going to like it. Okay. Let's just put all the cards on the table. This could torpedo that. So let's try to find a better communication route or something. So that way, when I set you and me up to win, we don't like shoot ourselves in the foot. Sound good?
To be honest, no, actually. Let me ask you, why do you believe that the superheroes defeating a clear enemy who had escaped from the Nazi regime would be looked upon as bad?
It's not clear, though. That's the problem. See, a lot of people haven't gotten over the fact that President Albrecht was a Nazi, and they're not going to see past that. That's just the way it is. And he's taken a very militaristic view of pro-deviant rights, which I'm all for. There being an even playing field for deviants, SPBs, whatever you want to call them, especially given my background. But the fact that he was what he was, there's plenty of people out there that are still in government positions right now that are not going to let go of that. He's the world's big villain right now.
I see.
The fact that you had somebody, despite the fact that I don't know what exactly happened, so I'm not going to cast stones, but worked with him, that's bad. That's stock market crash bad sort of thing for a company. So I think I've eased Hannah off of that, but that's the type of bullet that I needed to be in the loop on, so I can find a way to spin that in a direction that works for everybody, that's interested at this point. Trust me, having dealt with the Senian government for as long as I have, I completely get where you're coming from. The whole government there is the exact opposite of what we might think of New Prussia, yet they're the darlings of the world at this point, all because they have a stranglehold on Drevixia.
Right. I see. It is the optics of the situation.
Exactly. I don't need
Fair
to know
enough.
all the particulars. I can certainly appreciate the Donovan is on a need-to-know basis. But there are parts of this I probably needed to know. So, like I said, let's just chalk this up to a new business relationship. Maybe we can get this back on the level and make a lot of money for the right people.
Fair enough.
Is there anything else? since you're here, you're not going to have like an alien land in my backyard or something and say, I'm applying for a visa or anything. I would believe anything right about now.
No, that will not be happening.
Okay.
Oh, only just a demigod and
No, you've already had an alien at your party.
yeah.
He's not literally landing.
That could be arranged.
I mean, do you think
no.
it'll spice things up?
Yeah,
Boom! It's the...
He says, okay, so then I'll deal with Hannah in a few. Let me get the announcement out of the way, and I'll let you deal with your people.
of course.
So he takes he gets up there real quick and takes the stage, taps the microphone, makes sure it's on. And he says, all right, everybody, thank you again for coming to the party. I apologize if I haven't talked to you yet. I will before the night is up. He kind of points around everybody, being very genial, on the mic. He says, I try not to make any of these speeches political, so I will spare you the rhetoric and whatnot. Just point you to the dining room where we set up a display with some pamphlets on why you shouldn't do business with Senia, a number of human rights violations if they haven't been called to the carpet. I mean, if you've been to any of these parties, the spiel I'm giving, so the information's there if you need it, and of course you can talk to me afterwards if you have anything else to add or questions. However, the big reason why you're here, he says, so the business relationship that some of you have heard, I'm big on venture capitalism. We have worked out a deal with a somewhat new and up and coming company called Quantum Unlimited. Some of their people are here tonight for to mark this celebration. And more importantly, you would know them from their medical scanner, piece of equipment that has probably made your greedy little eyes at some point or another, or the brochures that you've been sent out. He says, so not only are we making that announcement that we will have bulk shipment of that available here very shortly, and we are upgrading facilities to meet the rising demands of these products and others. But what our scientists have actually discovered is if you partner this particular device with and he unveils a cover of one of your drives. He says of one of these T drives, which actually, and he pulls out another cover and there's a scanner right there. He says if you utilize this in one of the modified versions, we're going to call this the medical scanner version 2. He says not only are you able to scan for, and he lists off a number of different things that you could scan for, but because the machinery now has a hard drive or a device that it can store information, this particular device will also be able to act as such things as like an EEG, an EKG, an MRI, and be able to store data for weeks on end for particular subjects, lessening the need to buy many different medical devices for your particular offices and hospitals. So really, we're saving you money when it comes down to it. And they all kind of like start applauding. He says, so obviously the ones with the drive will be at an increased premium because of the hard drive. However, because of this innovation that we have been able to develop, we are not increasing the pricing of the base model. And should you need to upgrade that, we will have a built-in port that you can add this new T drive in. It is what the kids call plug and play nowadays for those techie computer types. All you'll need to do is plug that in. You will not need a technician. It will automatically upload the appropriate software, and you are off to the races. We estimate that any particular major hospital should only really need about maybe 10 of these particular units, and that will actually take up over a third of the now superficial machines that you will have in there. It kind of goes over some of the logic behind it. Basically, the scanner taking up the place of a number of different devices now frees up more space in the hospital for beds, or and also in essence it saves them money, because if they invest in the scanner, then they don't have to invest in all the separate technology, which then requires other specialized training and whatnot. So it's really kind of like a win-win situation. And he says on top of that, one of the things that we found out, because of the advanced nature of this medical scanner, and he pulls out basically pulls out a sheet of paper for some notes, but then he pulled like a projection screen, kind of throws up on a wall that gives kind of like a PowerPoint review. He says, not only does this advanced medical scanner allow for deep dives on the genetic structure and internal organs without having to cut your patient open, he says, and he pulls to another chart, he says, there is an increase of 30% detection rate in many different types of cancers. So this also goes to preventative natures, that you can catch these particular anomalies in your patient's body well before they start manifesting more drastic symptoms. So this is just a quality of life feature here, folks, that we discovered, and we're throwing into the product specifically for you. And he says, so also we have the brochures as well as contact and ordering information on the other side of the dining room. Please be sure to see that on your way out. And of course, we our phones stand ready to listen to all of your sales, your sales agents, and any with any questions that they might have, as well as training manuals that will come with each unit. And he just says, thank you and enjoy the party. And of course, there's like a round of applause, coming out.
Where was Hannah during all of this?
She walked off kind of along the side of the estate, over towards some trees, and started pacing.
Because
And just-
I would have followed her over there.
yeah. And she's just like really irritated, and she gets on her comm link, and you can hear her talking. You can only hear one side of the conversation, but basically she's relaying to somebody that there's at least one new Prussian agent here, and another another Nazi sympathizer, and so they're at this point concerned as to what to expect from this Quantum Unlimited company, and whatnot. And that's when you end up hearing, she goes, wait, what? So this Sagan is counterintelligence? And she says she was sent here specifically on orders of who? Oh dear. And she says, what should I end up doing? And she says, okay, roger that. And then she kind of loosens herself up at this point and starts walking back to the party. Missing, of course, the whole, spiel.
Announcement?
Whatnot. Yeah.
Okay, so Carmen probably missed the announcement too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna relay to the team. Hannah Abrams is heading back into the party, and it looks like she's coming in hot. We might want to make ourselves scarce.
Just out of curiosity, have I gotten back home yet?
Yeah.
Is he still highly intoxicated?
Yes.
He drunk dials his brother and sister and calls them a slew of names and hangs up the phone really hard.
Alrighty. So you absolutely do that with authority and slurred speech.
Because it's the only time he behaves like this.
Sure.
So Mark, then, after hearing Carmen, he'll subvocalize by coming in hot. Do you think she's going to do something?
She looks like she wants to go in swinging. I don't know what her orders are, but she knows who Sagan's boss is.
Let's see. They have advanced information and dossiers. Perhaps if I talk to her as the leader of the team and as Quantum Unlimited, perhaps that could assuage any fears or anger. What do you think?
At this point, I don't know if anything we could do would make it worse, except for maybe me being who I am.
We will need to discuss how much longer we can keep our private and public selves separate. We may need to discuss that tonight after the party.
Well, if you leave that up to Angler, you might want to just confess tomorrow.
That
Sorry,
was Sagan.
ma'am.
Yeah.
This becomes an I am Iron Man moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Sagan apologized, for that outburst. She's very irritated at what was said.
Per your abilities, Carmen, do you think she would be up to any degree of rational discussion, or is she too angry at the moment?
You know what? I'm going to do an empathy check.
Okay. Go ahead and give it a roll.
Green.
Okay.
Green.
She's pretty irritated, but more determined at this point.
I don't know how much you want to make public tonight. I would like to think that she wouldn't make a public spectacle at this venue, but if we could perhaps take her aside privately, that might be better.
That was my thought. Speak to her one-on-one privately.
Ma'am, if it helps, I can surrender myself.
I don't think that would help. You've done nothing wrong.
I know that, but she doesn't know that. And Shone is muted again.
I'm always muted. It doesn't matter, Sagan. You're part of this family.
Oh. Thank you.
I don't foresee anyone needing to sacrifice themselves for our identity.
Well, I stand ready nonetheless. That would be appropriate for my job position.
Not happening.
Let me see if I can speak to Miss Abrams, see what can happen.
And maybe you can untwist the knot that's in her underpants.
Yes. We'll see. So Mark makes
I'll-
his way.
I'll
See if
describe
she-
her location. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I posted part of the voicemail.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how one got their undergarments in a knot, because after sliding both of my legs in these things, it seems hard to tie it up like that.
Yes, another silly human saying. So Mark makes his way,
Okay.
trying to find Miss Abrams.
So it looks like she was actually trying to corner Donovan at this point. And I mean, so you end up approaching, and she, turns and looks at you. She's squares her body off a little bit towards you.
Okay. Hannah Abrams, correct?
That is correct.
Mark Annette, Quantum Unlimited. We just met a few minutes ago before the announcement Donovan made.
Right. I'm sorry. What can I help you with, Mr. Annette?
I understand that you've had conversations recently with one of my colleagues, Freddie, and then also with Donovan regarding what Freddie spoke of. I wanted to alleviate any anger or fear that you or anyone you work for might have towards what's actually happened in any relationships that are involved. If there's something that you need clarified, I'm willing to do whatever I can, because everyone involved at Quantum Unlimited, everyone I do business with and associate with, I assure you, is on the up and up. But if you need proof, if you need something, we can discuss it now.
So she kind of looks to Donovan, who's in the midst of talking to somebody. She says, "No, you can probably answer some questions for me."
Excellent. Ask away.
And so she looks around because you guys are like right up there on the floor. She says, "Do you really want me asking these questions in the open?"
I appreciate your candor. We can speak privately if you like. That would probably be best.
So she looks around and grabs one of the security guards who looks a little terrified of her, and she says, "You, where's a private room?" And he says, and kind of just like points, direction. "There's an available bedroom," and she says, "Not like that."
For a private discussion, good sir, is there some sort of alcove, a kitchen, some other office that we can talk in?
He says, "Oh, yeah. I'll show you where. There's you can just go to the library." And he like walks the two of you off. Basically you go back into the house, go through the living room. There's a nice gallery of art pieces and whatnot, specifically dedicated towards art. There were some out in the foyer, but this is like a room in between the living room and what's coming up to be the library, that has dedicated specifically to art. And then through some more double doors, you get into a library that actually has stairs that go that end up going up to the next level.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a 2-tiered library, basically.
Okay. Gotcha.
Should I continue to follow her, or should I let you guys do your thing?
I mean, I'll sub-vocalize, I'm already with her. Take a break, mingle, drink, talk to people.
Okay. Roger that.
If anything seems to go awry, please broadcast.
Of course.
I'll continue to keep an eye on our host.
What was the name of the Shadestone guy?
Henry, Shadestone guy. Oh, yeah. Who was
Yeah,
that?
that was
Winkler?
We actually didn't give that name, but you might have it.
I was just checking because when he was talking to Ixion, I didn't.
Yeah, no names were actually exchanged.
Okay.
Right. That's why he doesn't know that I'm with.
If Carmen sees him,
London.
she probably will.
Yeah, Carbon would absolutely recognize him.
She would probably like heat up his shoes so they stick to the floor.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll?
Okay.
Keep in mind. Oh, are you doing that through radiation, or are you getting it with the UV?
No, the radiation
Okay.
control,
Because I was going to say
the environmental one.
the UV is going to be noticeable.
Right.
Yeah, no. Or she'll like heat up his drink or something.
Well,
So that, like,
there's a big difference between the two, so you might want to let me know which one is it.
Yeah, let's do the drink.
Okay.
I'll heat up the drink in his hand.
Okay.
Okay. Psyche again, right?
Yes.
Yellow.
This is why superheroes, superpowered
Targeting.
beings should not drink.
So what is your power rank?
It is EX20.
Oh, nice. Okay. 1 second. Go ahead and chat amongst yourselves.
This is shaped up to be an interesting party.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about to get more interesting.
Damage control.
I've said it before. Failures are
They do make for entertaining games.
Yeah.
100%.
It's what drama is based off of, right?
Right.
Mhm.
like literally. He thought she was already read into the situation.
It's okay. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll just end up having to go public sooner than later.
We're also figuring out that maybe doing what we did actually kind of sort of looks bad for legacy. If we were all helping, are we all looked upon as Nazi sympathizers? To
I mean, that's why the whatever their names is, the Justice Legion, that's why they came after us, because they thought that we were in cahoots with Jurgen.
I mean, that's what it seems like. Yeah, I wonder if that is the reason, or if there is some other weird reason, because they
Jealousy
arrived.
that they weren't taking charge in Argentina and doing the right thing.
Maybe, or something else weird is going on, because they didn't arrive in their normal uniforms. They were wearing
Yeah.
like weird
Oh, they
clandestine
were?
Black Ops uniforms. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Hmm.
Okay, back. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you focus on the cup, you start to see the insides bubble. Let me see if he takes note. Okay, no, he does not. He's busy like talking to a lot of different people, and then as he goes to take a sip of his drink, he's all, oh, and, pulls it back out, and he's like, oh, that was aware that the wine could get hot in this temperature. If you'll excuse me, let me get another glass.
I wonder if I should keep doing it.
Oh, I would.
Oh,
All right.
boy.
Petty
Let's
Carmen is
fun it.
petty.
She's just entertaining herself.
Yeah.
Also, I've probably had like 3 drinks at this point.
Oh, okay. Why don't you give me an endurance check?
Okay, let's do it.
Oh boy.
Is Sean going to be the only one that doesn't get drunk this time?
Me.
Oh, well, yeah.
Don't
Yellow.
forget about Hyperion. Hyperion can't get drunk.
Can't. Yeah, exactly.
Well, depending on how it would affect with my biology, I would either it could go extremely one way or the other. I could either drink everyone under the table and drink as much as everyone collectively here and still be like, yeah, whatever, or I'd like sip it and I would be
Dancing on the table
Right.
probably.
with the
Yellow.
lampshade.
Yellow result? Okay. Yeah, you're fine.
Not something I wish.
You're a little lightheaded. You can feel the alcohol, but otherwise you're fine. You're not really impaired in
All of a sudden,
any way.
we start hearing her going, tee hee hee.
Oh, I'm totally giggling.
Okay.
100%.
All right. So, Mark, you walk into the library at this point, and she says, "So, I'd like a reason not to haul all of you off in front of an international tribunal."
I see. Well, to explain first, simple ground rules that I hope that you would understand. There are individuals whose identities I won't fully disclose, of course, but clearly you already know about Freddy being the angler, and the angler being a part of that team, the legacy here in Strongford. Well, clearly, of course, he is one of my most valued employees, a head of one of my departments. And by my understanding, and I trust him implicitly, I have no reason not to, that as we saw, apparently something had happened in Argentina where the legacy themselves were trying to intervene and trying to actually save other superpowered beings who had been captured. Which apparently seems as if that was the case. From what we've found on the news, shortly after they arrived, apparently then President Albrecht of New Prussia arrived with his forces and started that war. Well, because of that, the entire country became a war zone. And it turned out that Friedrich Heinrich, the main individual responsible for apparently what was happening in Argentina, was the main goal. Trying to find, apprehend, and defeat him was the primary goal of the legacy. Therefore, the goals happen to be approximately the same. It wasn't sympathizing with President Albrecht. It seems as though it's essentially a temporarily, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but only temporarily. There was that one goal, to apprehend that one true Nazi.
You seem to have a lot of information on what took place for somebody who just runs a stateside business.
Well, I have Angler as my employee. I've discussed much of this with him because, of course, it can impact what happens on the world stage, and if we're going to grow our business, we need to be aware of what's going on, especially if he's involved in something so intense.
Plus, he was out of work for the last month. Out of the office.
So are you there now too?
No. Nope, I'm accepting my...
I can't understand. Have to be black and white. Me. I know I can't hear him either, but
I fully understand that working alongside him, even for that short period of time, even when the goal was to defeat a different literal Nazi, will look bad. The vast majority of the world, especially the United States, looks upon New Prussia as simply Nazi sympathizers for obvious reasons. And I definitely don't condone what Jürgen Albrecht, Reichshield, did decades ago in World War II. However, he himself was literally going after an ex-Nazi to defeat him. So in that one case, it seems as if it's like the saying, a broken clock, even a broken clock, is right twice a day. Again, I don't condone everything he's done in the past, but in this one instance, I look upon what Angler and his team did as being the right thing to do. They had to defeat that monster, and they did so. What other questions did you have?
So
I say over the intercom, step off to the side to where, and I say, if it helps, keep in mind that we saved the U.S. Was it a senator or ambassador? His daughter. He specifically said he would vouch for us and give us he owed us a favor. That may be constituted this time, or at least be able to be referenced.
Mark subvocalizes, noted. Thank you.
So she says, so then you're claiming that you have no official ties to the country of New Prussia.
What do you mean by official?
As far as official, what exactly do you mean?
I think you know what I mean.
All right.
Oh, you know what I mean.
I'm really glad I'm nowhere near this party.
So is shown.
Well, are you referring to then Sagan, the...
Why do you have a member of the New Prussian Science Police as a bodyguard to presumably yourself or somebody else in your group who happens to also be an employee, from what I understand?
You were proving why. You were proving why it hasn't been mentioned, at least, and that it hasn't been a public thing because of the optics. It is true. I have an employee who has a direct familial relation with the person that you clearly hate for obvious reasons. And
Familial
person,
relation.
correct.
So she's kind of sitting and thinking about that in a second. So you employ somebody who is directly related to Jurgen?
This is not going
I
well.
have. But keep in mind, those who are related to that person are not that person.
Roll your popularity at this point.
Okay.
Your popularity,
That's-
obviously not Hyperion.
Yeah, okay.
I thought I was doing the worst here. I'm happy now.
If you want to throw some points at it,
Throw some
Plus-
points at this one.
Yeah, I already rolled.
Oh,
We just recently found
what
out
feat?
that she's.
do you need a
related.
reroll? I will gift you one right now.
Oh no.
I think I can roll with this. I think I can roll with this. I got a white result.
okay. All right.
For example, imagine you had a relation that was 1 or 2 or maybe 3 generations removed, who was somebody who was infamous. Would you want to be known by that person's reputation? Would you truly want it to be known to others, even if you were the exact polar opposite of that person?
Well, the latter half of that statement is what remains to be seen. That's the problem you're facing. And the optics at this point, as you so aptly put, are quickly narrowing into the negative. Despite the temper tantrum that Angler threw earlier on about wanting to blow up his carrier or whatever that was about. So why don't we do it this way? Because I understand that an employee of your company will play this as you put it. An employee of your company has found themselves in the crosshairs of the Justice Legion. Now, I'm not the Justice Legion. I don't know the entire particulars there. I don't particularly care to want to. That's their business. But I have worked with them quite a bit. And whatever problem it is that they might have alarms me when I see that there could be some credibility to that. So if you are acting in good faith, then why don't you open your company up to independent oversight by UN overseers? If there's nothing to find, then obviously it gets quelled. It never makes the media or papers or anything of that nature. And in fact, well, then that's just a feather in your cap, especially if somebody like Tony Pope got wind of this, that sleazeball journalist.
I see.
He
So you're
needs
trying
he needs very little to really enact on anything.
So you're trying to illegally blackmail me then?
No, not at all. I'm simply telling you what you're facing at this point.
Can we heat her drink?
Can you what? No, you cannot.
She doesn't have a drink.
No.
Rat.
I could probably frizz her hair. But I'm not there.
I see.
So is our host like in a position to where Sean can maybe get him out on the dance floor.
We'll get to that in a second. We'll
Okay.
see if that's a possibility.
To open up the company to UN oversight would then reveal the identities of those who don't want to be persecuted by others who don't understand.
So, do you believe that we're attempting to persecute as the United Nations?
Of course you are. Why would you do this otherwise?
Because you have a Nazi war criminal directly related to your company. It bears every semblance of an investigation.
That's the reasoning that led to the creation of the Japanese internment camps of World War II. Let's imprison and put oversight on every Japanese American because they have ancestry in a country that America was at war with.
So you're assuming we're going to imprison your entire company. I'm not even sure how that would even work.
Not imprison, but to persecute in your own way. You've already decided that there would be Nazi sympathizers. I understand you had that heated conversation with Donovan already. You've already made up your mind and are going to pass that on to anybody you please. In fact, you've just threatened to provide that information to Tony Pope in an attempt to slander us.
Actually, I have not. I'm not the one that's going to be that can get a hold of that information. This is your opportunity to get ahead of that. As I indicated, Tony Pope needs very little to operate off of. It's already known that the legacy was in Argentina and working directly with Jurgen and his forces.
At the same time, it's also known what was accomplished. The defeat and apprehension of that war criminal.
It is.
An actual Nazi.
It is. And like you said, it's optics. And do you think in the United States that's going to swing in your favor right now? UN oversight comes in and you say there's no direct tie. You're not working with them of any nature outside of, I guess, this employee or whatever have you. UN oversight works the exact same way that they did with Iraq. No internment camps. They weren't there to prosecute. They were there to ensure that they didn't have weapons of mass destruction as agreed upon their armistice when they surrendered.
What would even constitute proof of some sort of collaboration or whatever it is you think is going on?
Well, I would assume that they would have to look at your books and ascertain that there's no direct business tie. That's going to be awfully difficult with the individual that you hired, but obviously that's what's more important is the trading of technology, for example, the release of this new medical scanner, amongst other things. The question is, to me, is not really whether or not you see this one way or the other. It's whether you want a clean bill of health. You already have factions in the United States, from what I understand, that gunning for you is probably not a completely inappropriate term. The whole nature of deviance is still fluid throughout the world, especially in places like Senia.
True.
So why don't you help me help you instead of making this adversarial? Or a drunken stupor, as your friend put it.
I agree. We don't really have anything to hide. We are That's just it. We have nothing truly to hide. We simply want to make sure that everything is on the up and up.
Then there you go. What better way to enter the world stage on an international level than a clean bill of health from the United Nations?
Like that means anything.
All right. Would you be the one to contact them, or would you rather I?
I can make that contact for you. I would not be the one making these recommendations or the oversight, but I could be involved if that's what you so wish. This would ensure that certain elements of the Justice Legion did decide to show up.
Understood.
Well, you are statuesque.
In fact, due to our conversation now, and I do appreciate your rationale, if you would be there along with the oversight, I would appreciate it. With your contacts and who you're with, perhaps we would have a clean bill of health with you as well.
Okay. Then I will send the word, and we will be in touch with your company probably within the next couple of days.
Understood. I appreciate your
at
time.
At this point, she actually extends her hand.
Because Ed shakes. I appreciate your time and understanding for this matter.
I appreciate your understanding in more ways than you'll understand.
Let's enjoy the party, shall we?
So she motions forward. I mean, she is a public hero. I wouldn't say she's on the standing of like Monarch in the Justice Legion.
But she's well known.
But she is very well known, and she's one of those tip of the spears sort of thing on her own team. That when they go into hot spots, she's usually the first one. They're very their public faces. You know, when it comes to things like Rwanda and things that came to other big hot button like Desert Shield, for example. They were involved with that. They are very clearly heroes. They don't muddy the line, and they're often directly involved on an international level, much like the UN peacekeeping forces.
Gotcha. Yeah, because they're the superhero team for the United Nations.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
So often at times they get thrown at the SPBs of like a particular region, to subdue them or bring them in line. If they, like say for example, a warlord who happens to be on a tear happens to have some guys who are actually hyped up or deviants or whatever, they're going to throw them at them to neutralize them while the peacekeeping forces do what they need to do to stabilize the region.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. All right.
She just obviously this was a hot button topic for her because reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
She no likey Nazis.
No.
Seriously,
Right.
it's good that I didn't decide to just like punch her in the face.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Please don't punch random people in the face.
She's not random people.
True. It's true.
This is a specific person.
Yeah. Don't punch specific people in the face.
True.
Just heat up their drinks.
Any
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, as you come walking back, you hear like Lightbringer, kind of giggling again into the comm, as he like tossed out another drink because that one was warm, sort of thing. She got to it when he was getting ready to pick it up.
This is great.
So Mark will make his way to find just Meander and locate Carmen to hang out with her for a bit.
Okay. And Sean, give me a intuition check.
Okay. Watch me tank this time.
Watch you whip.
And say Nene. Green feet.
Nene is not here.
Good point.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. So he is. Yeah. I mean, right now he's actually entertaining a woman, and took her out onto the dance floor.
Go cut in, I dare you.
Oh yeah, she'll do that.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, she's
Venus
that
de Milo.
bold.
Okay, so you step up and try to cut in. Why don't you give me a popularity check?
And okay, I have a 42 and it says plus 20 MP. What does that mean?
So you have a private. Everybody's going to have a private identity or secret identity, and you're going to have your hero identity. Your hero identity should actually, right now as it stands, should be the higher of those two.
Yeah, so 42. And then what's the plus 20?
Dealing with Egyptians, as shown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
So
'Cause
otherwise you
I
don't
have
have anything right now because no one knows who you
Right.
are.
Roll. So
I
that
have
was
a
roll what?
or nutrition.
S0?
Yes.
Exactly, yeah.
No.
You were one off. One off.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a fail.
Two off.
So
Yeah.
you try to step in at that point, and he kind of smiles, and the woman he's with says, no, adults are dancing right now, dear, because you look 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
And
old
so
is she?
and so they continue to dance.
Older than that woman.
Yes.
1,000 or something.
Yeah.
She's
Bless
gonna
you.
bite her tongue because she don't want to get in that much trouble.
Oh, she's going to be
She's
good.
like-
Good job.
She's like,
Unlike
She's-
Lightbringer.
Well, she might have Lightbringer glue her shoes to the floor.
Wow.
So she'll go over and stand by Carmen.
Okay.
Kind of.
So Hyperion, you end up finding your group. At this point,
Yeah.
Ixion's just kind of wandering around a little bit of more people watching, and kind of just like ear hustling a bit as he goes. But he's not far from where Shone and Lightbringer are at.
Okay. If I see him wandering, I go collect him too, and let's meet up with the others for now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
we all
since I'm too young to dance with.
Too young to dance with, according to who?
See that woman with the fake boobs? Her.
With Donovan McLaren.
Yes.
I see.
Oh, you don't want to dance with him. He made a pass at me last time too. Seems like he's the kind of person that gets around.
Oh, I just wanted his checkbook.
That's probably what she wants too.
So,
Too bad I didn't have the ability to melt something.
melt something. What
Carmen
was?
Carmen starts giggling.
Ah,
Oh yeah, you can, can't you? She's gonna whisper to her sister, "Can you melt her shoes?"
I'll look over and see what kind of shoes she's wearing.
He's wearing high heels.
And not enough surface area. That's
Okay,
the
how
material.
about the fake boobs?
I do not think that we need to make a scene, or even take a chance of doing so.
That would be painful. That's too far for me.
They could just
I can make
blame
it.
it on the manufacturer.
I could make an illusion though.
before doing anything of this nature, we need to be careful. And after the party, we'll need to discuss what's going to happen at our company and with us.
Oh,
How did it go? Are we in big trouble?
Technically, no. There will be UN oversight of the company within the next few days to ensure that there's no helping of a specific group, and then he sub-vocalizes, nobody else hears, so that there's no Nazi sympathizing. It's clear that they knew we were the legacy, or at least the legacy is connected, of course, to Angler. The legacy was seen effectively helping Jurgen, even though it was to apprehend another Nazi. It still looks bad to many different groups. And therefore, they're trying to make sure that we're not in league with New Prussia or with other Nazi sympathizers.
Okay, and just for sake of argument, what if we were?
Yeah.
I mean, what's it to them?
Based on the
So-
fickle nature of humans, those who sympathize with opposing views are typically ousted, and in some cases, depending on the severity of the dislike, can be cast out or even violently afflicted.
So, how exposed is this going to make all of us?
It will be UN oversight. There will clearly be some exposure. However, once they see that we are technically on the up and up, and we clearly don't have any direct business ties, nor are helping the new Prussian government with any of their goals they may have, then the theory goes that we will have a clean bill of health, so to speak, in Ms. Abrams' words, on the international stage, which is
I'm not
something that technically we should work towards.
I'm not sure if I like her or not.
How do you know that we can? If there's anything that I know about government types, it's that they can spin anything to look like anything.
Yes.
Understandable.
That's
However, we're not talking about the US government. We're not talking about New Prussia. We are talking about the United Nations. And I've made sure that she will also be a part of the investigation, since she and I had a relatively decent conversation. She maintained her composure. We both did. Therefore, I believe that she'd be willing to listen.
so. Just out of my own curiosity, if it was known that we were all,
Who we are.
yeah, and that would make us have every right to have ties to New Prussia because there's other, I can't remember the word we're using besides deviant.
Empowered.
Again, what is it to her?
The problem becomes...
Sagan states because you would be tied almost directly to a Nazi war criminal.
Yeah, but I would be tied to other empowered.
No,
Is
that's
what I
not-
would be tied to.
That's not the point. They're looking to try and find a way to tie President Albrecht back to the Nuremberg trials. He never stood trial. They wanted to bring him up, but could not only never find him, but he was obviously too powerful to bring in.
So this is pretty much a pissing contest then.
And so at that point, she says very irritatedly, she says, "Isn't that on both sides? I just sat there and listened to Freddie rail against my people and say that he would have blown up the carrier when they bent over backwards to heal him and his arrogant ass." What do
Yes, you
we
have
need to do?
shift.
What do we
Yeah.
need to do to prove that we're on the level? I get the rest of the world being jerks to us. There's a lot that we have going on that they greedily want or they're jealous of. If it's not that we have powers and we're better than the normal human, depending upon whatever it is that we have. But when we come together, we make great things. Yet we're still persecuted, and even the people who stand up and supposedly defend the others still rail against us. So where do we catch the break?
That's my point. I mean,
How much of what goes on in New Prussia is public knowledge?
Great question. I couldn't honestly answer because I don't know what the media around the world does. Mostly it's a blackout. For obvious reasons, I think, if you really think about it. This was really the first time we got much press outside of, the big bad country.
Maybe you ought to have some exposure to the outside press to bolster that image.
I'm not a politician, ma'am. I couldn't honestly say. Maybe you should
That would
talk to
obviously-
maybe you should talk to your grandfather about that.
Precisely.
Please tell me this is all sub-vocal.
it is.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Which means Freddie's probably listening too.
Yeah,
Give
he-
me an
No,
endurance,
Freddie's back at his apartment.
give
He's
me an endurance check.
me.
How far does the link extend?
Worldwide.
It's satellite.
Um. Oh, I just lost Dale. Maybe he'll come.
90. Yellow feet.
Nice. Yep.
Okay.
Wait.
So you haven't blacked out, but you've tossed back quite a few at this point. So you're probably in a various stage of undress and drink pounding.
Probably on my second or third call to the other fingers.
Probably, yeah.
And I'll mention that last time I visited, we took a tour of the human side of town, and it was very different from when we were there before. They're doing really well and feeling a sense of pride in their country. It was incredible.
Are you sure that that's something that was truly objective, or was that washed for your benefit?
Granted, my grandfather was there with me, so I imagine there was some different behavior due to his presence, but everyone that I could see seemed to be genuinely happy.
Understood. Keep in mind of who your grandfather is and what he has done. And clearly that's why the world thinks the way they do. As Sagan mentioned, he has never paid for his crimes, of which there were many. In fact, it wasn't that long ago when, even on American television, he and his two main protectors teleported here. He immediately killed a human being and then left. That is the type of individual he can be. So it's understandable the way the world would look at him, even with what he's done with the country he's now the leader of. Therefore, any communication you make with him needs to be careful. We need to be forthright with the UN investigators. And if that means that we're revealed as who we actually are, so be it. We can accomplish anything together, No matter who knows who we are, we can do whatever we need to do. We'll
I
be
just
fine.
don't like the fact that she has to hide who she is or where, her blood came from. I mean, that's the kind of crap I had to deal with before coming here because of who my father was and because I wasn't considered pure.
Would we be able to use precisely that to our advantage?
Let's see.
Our father was beloved.
I think we'll need to keep these things on hand, including the fact that we do have technically that favor, that connection with the ambassador to Argentina. I think it'll depend on what's determined in the UN investigation, what they see, what they say, and at the same time, I will be obtaining legal defense, probably through Stephen P. New, to ensure that everything's on the up and up. And before we leave, I do need to speak to Donovan McLaren. I have already promised him that anything that would come up with regard to Quantum Unlimited, that he would be made abreast of. So he will know before we leave that the UN oversight will be happening shortly.
And Exion, when I said because of who our father was, he was not well liked from where I come from.
I wonder how.
But we are not there.
I
know,
was
but
I was also ousted, as you have heard, though we are not there. Both you and I are in a new situation that, if necessary, our patronage could be to our advantage here rather than to our disadvantage.
Well, her patronage is at a disadvantage because of who her grandfather is, and she's having to.
Her grandfather was not a beloved hero. He was a war criminal.
But her father was a hero to all.
Yes.
I wonder if it would tarnish that reputation to find out about our parentage.
Well, yeah, because your mother was the daughter of a Nazi.
No, but I mean,
A relationship to Electrum.
I mean tarnish Electrum's image. Would we even be believed?
Who cares? He's gone.
Ignore the little man
Great dad that
behind
guy
the
was.
curtain.
Good points all, to be fair. This is not an easy situation to be in, but we can handle it. It's not something we can perfectly plan, but it is something we can react to adequately, if not greater.
Are we able to protect our identity if this goes on?
My guess is no.
Are they going to find our out about our identity through Quantum Unlimited?
That may be the case. That is something we'll need to think about, and that's why I was saying we would discuss this more after the party to see what we would do in case.
Are Shion and my lineage in Quantum Unlimited's database?
As far as both of you, you're both known as human beings with actual human identities. If we need to change that, if something else needs to happen, so be it. We'll do everything that we can to make sure that we're okay.
We just don't want to get poked and prodded.
I don't want you poked or prodded either.
Because we're not really from here.
By my understanding, there is an individual, at least one, in the Justice Legion I believe, monarch who is also not from here. Ms. McCall did mention that the Justice Legion possesses a god. I would think that monarch is likely that individual. He's
A
clearly
god,
not
huh?
a
Oh yeah,
human
no,
being from here.
Sagan shakes her head. She
No.
says, "No, that's not him."
Do you know who it is?
Yeah, it's some. Well, at least he was, anyways. Dimension hopping deity from the Greeks called Odysseus.
Oh, really?
I see.
Do you
Well-
know him, Sean?
I know. I know. We know of each other's. Gods know of each other's reputations because they've had to compete for human worship. Is the closest I can bring it to.
So, how much of this are you going to tell to Mr. McLaren?
I'll be letting him know that I've discussed some information with Ms. Abrams, and to make sure that everything is on the up and up, that there is no Nazi sympathizing or what have you, that a UN Oversight Committee will be looking at Quantum Unlimited within the next few days. If he has further questions, I should be able to answer them. But given where he's from, I believe he'll understand. Plus, if Quantum Unlimited can be shown to be completely free of any type of real scandal, that will also give us a type of socioeconomic armor, if you will.
Um, he already knows that I have the deviant gene, as you recall.
Yes, from that first meeting.
Right. So I don't know if that will factor anything for better or worse.
Well, if there wasn't anything else, I should probably speak to him now to make sure I catch him before he starts another dance.
Yeah, you can tell him that he could have danced with the goddess.
Forgive me if I don't tell him that right now.
Yeah, I get it.
I'll be back. So Mark turns and sees if he can flag down Donovan.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's at this point he's back to talking to, another crowd of people who are talking about his, the device and so on, business stuff.
Okay. So I go up to him and do you have a moment? I have one more thing to discuss with regard to the Ms. Abrams discussion.
Yeah, sure. So he kind of waves to the others and he just says, "Step into my office," and he walks off to the side somewhere, just random.
Yep. Let's follow him over when we get there. So I had a discussion with Ms. Abrams. Due to the information she received and that was discussed, she suggested to ensure that there's absolutely no Nazi sympathizing or anything of that nature, that we undergo UN oversight, Quantum Unlimited, to ensure that there would be a true clean slate on the world stage.
Wow. On United States soil, that's pretty unheard of, but ballsy. Okay. I mean,
Admittedly,
I get where you're coming from on this. That's exactly what it would do, but I might imagine there's going to be some resistance from the United States government. They tend not to like the UN poking around any company for any or anything in the United States for that reason.
Well, we'll see how effective that is. Miss Abrams was going to lead the way in that regard. If she's unsuccessful, then, of course, it would be a non-starter. But if she is, then she herself will also be joining in with the oversight to ensure everything is on the up and up.
Okay. So is there anything I need to worry about?
As far as worry,
Like people from the wrong country on payrolls?
from the wrong country, no. But one piece of information that
Other
that
dimensions or other worlds, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
one piece of information she's also aware of is that there is technically a familial relationship between one of my employees and with President Albert.
Oh,
It is
Christ.
not immediate, but it is by a couple of
But
generations.
close enough. Okay. How much do they interact? Is it none?
It's
Anything
been
higher than sort of?
it's been occasional visits and talking to.
Okay.
Tell him she's trying to convince him to turn himself in and face trial. It's not too far off from the truth.
Again, ignore the little man behind the curtain.
Where's that other bottle at?
You could tell him that they've met probably 5 times in the last 25 years.
You wouldn't be
Even though
lying.
those 5 times have been in the last 2 months.
To be real with you, she herself apparently didn't even know about the relationship until very recently, within the last couple of months. So she spent nearly her entire life having no idea that this relation even existed.
Okay. All right. That's good. But it's deemed a good relationship? Because you said it was more than once.
It was. They are not helping each other per se, nor are they at odds. So
they are not close.
Absentee, blah, blah, blah.
They are not truly close.
Okay.
Clearly, she is. She doesn't. None of us approve with what he's done in the past, obviously, and
right.
Well, effectively, that's one of the reasons why the UN oversight would be taking place, to make sure that everything is on the up and up. Any relationships or what have you are not constituting treason or anything even close,
Okay.
so on and so forth.
All right. I'm going to have to trust you on this one, but I got to be honest. My butt's a little puckered.
I understand.
Do you have anybody else or any cards that you can play to help smooth this over? Because, if they get bottlenecked by for starters, if they get bottlenecked by the United States, then this is, it's a non-issue for the wrong reasons, if you follow me.
I do have a chip I can play, so to speak, with a particular international ambassador for the United States.
Okay.
He may smooth things over at least a degree.
Good, and that's in the right category then. Okay, then I'll leave you to it. Just if there's bad or good news, let me know as soon as you got it.
Of course, absolutely. It's been an excellent party, all things considered. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish it was better. Obviously, for reasons that we neither of us foresaw, but let's hope that this goes through the way it should, because there's a lot of greenbacks to be made here, and more importantly, a lot of people that can use this up.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. Thank you, Donovan. Appreciate it.
Of course. He sticks out his hand again. Give my regards to the rest of your team. Maybe we'll do lunch sometime.
Excellent. Shakes hand and walks off.
Okay.
And Mark is going to find the rest of the group.
Can Carmen continue
Tormenting.
Boiling those drinks.
Why don't you give me a reason check real quick?
You're going to make him think he has a power, like he's just heating up drinks. Oh my god.
That'd be funny.
99.
Wow.
God.
Okay.
Why couldn't we roll that during our what you
So-
call our feats?
Yeah, right.
So Brittany, at this point, if you continue to do it, it's going to look super suspicious. It may not leap back to you, but it's going to give the wrong impressions that somebody is doing something.
Somebody is targeting him.
Yeah,
Well, they are.
right.
Yeah.
It would seem somebody's targeting you.
Fine.
Gosh, she was enjoying being rebellious. Buzzkill.
Now, and I'm just letting you know, you still can.
Can I do the shoe thing instead?
Go right on ahead.
Okay. And then I'll call it good.
Okay.
Do we see her concentrating and looking at this guy?
Give me a intuition check. There's a chance.
It's green.
Okay.
Green.
Anybody else rolling?
Nah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I could try.
Ixion, I mean, you see her kind of look over as he's walking around, and she now focuses like on his feet or something, and he lifts up real quick, with one of his feet, raises his leg, and looks around trying to make sure that the ground, you didn't step on something like really hot or something.
I'm
Are
just
you?
over here giggling
I understand your relationship to
into
him,
my drink?
but not here. Have my powers been under control enough to where I would be able to lightly
Cool
chill
it
the
off.
ground, cool them off,
Oh, that
without any danger of
cool it
like
down.
there,
turning his whole foot into an ice block?
there's a chance that you could suddenly make that a nice ice lick.
Oh, that would be even funnier. You would make Carmen's day.
Carmen, please.
And that's why we all suddenly turn around and walk off whistling.
And
No,
Mark
that's not suspicious at all.
would talking to.
Bunch of little kids, I swear.
Okay, so was there anything else?
And no, I guess we're good.
Mark, walks up to everybody and is like, "So, did we want to stay, or are we ready to head out?"
Should we
I'm
stay
ready
or
to-
should we go now?
I gotta admit, this is kind of boring. We
Let's
could
go get
go to
cheeseburgers or
someplace a lot more fun. We can go clubbing.
Yeah, okay.
We could. Right then, let's head out.
Okay, and with that, we are going to stop for the night
Yay, she took them clubbing.
for the game.
I better get some phone numbers.
Nice.
Oh, I am sure Carmen will come home with some phone numbers.
Okay.
So, next game we're going to be playing is actually on, what is it, the 18th now? So the 22nd
First.
is going to be Cyberpunk.
Nice.
So looking forward to diving back into the world of Edge Runners once again. And on Saturday, we will be jumping back into Ashland by Night Blood Ties.
Vampire.
Yes. And so the Cyberpunk game is going to start at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the Vampire game is going to start Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. For all you who were watching but didn't say anything, or who just tuned in general. Yes, thank you again for stopping by, Davy Jones. And
Davey.
with that, we'll go ahead and sign out. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Night. Oh, yeah. Carmen will come home with a number from Brad.